Hello everyone, this is Dr. Mamta Sharma, Assistant Professor, Department of Commerce, Kishanlal Public College, Rewari. I am here to discuss the few concepts of income tax and the main topic on which today we are going to discuss is calculation of net tax liability. This topic seems very common and demanding as in today's era it seems very important to understand the concept of this net tax liability. Reason being, as we all are the income holders, or when we go to earn the income, we must know what how we will calculate our total income or the income for an year, and then on which basis it will be taxable. So here in this lecture I am going to tell you about these concepts. That means what will be the procedure of computing the total taxable income, then how we will compute the net tax liability. So without wasting much more time, let's start our today's topic, calculation of net tax liability. So here we have written that there are some sources of net tax liability. There are some sources of income. First, basically there are 5 heads of computing the income of an individual. Income from salary head, income from house property, income from business profession, income from capital gain, and income from other source. These 5 heads are the total heads of computing or considering the income of an individual. That means all the incomes will be covered only and only under these heads. That means no income will be kept out of this heads. Salary, its name shows clearly that when a person works as an employee under an employer, then the remuneration which he gets will be considered as an salary. Second one, income from house property. That means when one person land his house on rent, then this rental income will be income from house property. Other one is income from business and profession. When you put your capital into a business just to earn profit and losses. Income from capital gain. Other than this, commercial assets, when you sell your asset and you earn profit and losses on this sale. There may be short term transfer of asset, there may be long term transfer of asset, and the last one is income from other sources, which is also a residuary head. That means the incomes which are not covered under these 4 heads will be covered under this head. That means it clearly shows 4 heads. If do not include any income, then must be included in income from other source. It means there is no any other head other than these 5 heads. Clear? So after getting or after understanding these heads separately, then we will consider our income. That means under which head our income will be taxable. We will write down the incomes. Then if the person or the individual is earning income from one head or more than one head, whatever the case may be, we will make a total of all these incomes, and the total will be considered as gross total income. Gross, it means we just have totaled the income, no any other deduction is made out of this. Gross simply means making a total of all your incomes by dividing or considering them separately in other or in different heads, which we have already written down in this slide. Okay, then after making the total of 5 heads income, the individual will be allowed to have a deduction commencing or considering the section from 80C to 80U. 80C to 80U. An individual may claim any deduction under these sections. So this is quite a different topic and we have to understand separately. 80C to 80U, that means when you make payment out of your incomes, then such payment as it reduces your income, then you can claim this reduction as a amount of deduction. That means your gross total income will be reduced by this amount which you have earlier paid out of your own income. Then after deducting this ETC to 80U, remaining left amount will be considered as your total income. Clear? Gross total income. We have separated this gross word from this total income, and the balance left will be total income. One another point which come into our mind is about the agriculture income. Agriculture income is not covered under these 5 heads. Agriculture income simply is fully exempt. Clear? We always say that agriculture income is fully exempt. That means it will not be taxable. Then why we have written here agriculture income? Simply we have a point to understand here is that if your total income exceeds minimum exemption limit which may differ for different type of age group. Okay, so just simply take 2,50,000. It is minimum exemption limit. If your total income exceeds minimum exemption limit as well as your agriculture income exceeds rupees 5,000, then first this agriculture income will be included in your total income, and then tax on this agriculture income will be deducted. Simple. That means fully exempt. We just have added this agriculture income into our total income, as well as we just have reduced our tax liability by the tax on agriculture income. So here the point is to be very clear that first we will check our total income. If it exceeds minimum exemption limit like 2,50,000 and our agriculture income exceeds rupees 5,000, then we will add this amount to our total income, and the resulting amount will be known as aggregate income. Next one, come to the main topic, which is calculation of net tax liability. As we have already calculated our aggregate income, then we will discuss what is the tax liability. Tax liability is calculation process, or simply it is a process in which we apply the different rate of taxes for the computation of our tax amount in a previous year. That means how much amount is to be paid by the assessee in a year. Basically there are 2 type of rates. One is specific rate and second one is general rate. Specific rate clearly shows that there are some assets which are clearly specified. That means the incomes will be taxable only at the specified rates. That means there will be no confusion. Like first, casual income which is not a regular income, irregular income, which may happen or may not happen. Like when you go for a purchase of lottery ticket, there may be equal chances. You may win the lottery or you may lose the. Clear? You may win. There are equal chances. So this is called the casual income. Casual income is always taxable at the rate of 30%. This is specific rate. There are some other assets also, there are some other incomes also, like LTCG, long term capital gain, short term capital gain, and then dividend from an Indian company. Basically we say that dividend from an Indian company is exempt, but when it exceeds rupees 10 lakhs, then it will be taxable at the rate 10%. So let's have a view on specified rates of taxes. Casual income 30%, LTCG, long term capital gain at the rate of 20%, short term capital gain will be taxable at the rate of 15%. Dividend from an Indian company will be taxable at the rate of 10%. These are some specific rates. That means after computing our aggregate income, we will bifurcate our aggregate income. That means we will make two sections of the income. First, the incomes on which specific rates are to be applied, and the incomes on which the general rates are to be applied. First, we will take only those incomes on which these special rates are to be applied. Like your total income is rupees 5 lakh, then out of this 5 lakh, first you will take out the casual income if you are having. If you are not having casual income, then there is no need to make this category. Clear? If you are not having long term capital gain, short term capital gain, or like dividend from an Indian company exceeding rupees 10 lakhs, then there is no need to go for this category. Just simply move to the next category, which is general slab rates. Clear? So here the general slab rates are given for the assessment year 2019 to 20. As you are able to show or to see in this slide, that the individual is being categorized into three categories, like individual below the age of 60 years, individual from 60 to 80 years, and individual more than 80 years. Simply we use a term like senior citizen, super senior citizen. An individual who is below 60 years. Other than this, HUF, AOP, body of individual also come under the same category. Senior citizen from 60 year to 80 year. Super senior citizen means the person who is more than 80 years. Every person is having different slab. That means there is a difference in their minimum exemption limit. You can see in this slide, the person who is below the age of 60 years can claim an exemption up to rupees 2,50,000. That means if the person is having income, total income less than 2,50,000, then there will be no tax liability. If he is having like income 3 lakh, then up to 2,50,000 will be exempt. Remaining 50,000 will be taxable. Clear? For the senior citizen, this minimum exemption limit increases from 2,50,000 to 3 lakh. Additional 50,000 is being given to this senior citizen. And for the super senior citizen, this amount rises to rupees 5 lakh. Clear? 2,50,000, 3 lakh, 5 lakh. This is the difference between these three slabs. And then move on the next points. When you have computed your aggregate income, first you will make a classification like the age of individual. First you will see, before computing the tax liability, first you will check out under which category he lies. 60 year, 60 to 80, or more than 80. Only then we will be able to compute our tax liability. Like take an example, if he comes under the category below the age of 60 years, so minimum exemption limit will be rupees 2,50,000. We will check that how much income we have computed. Like you have computed your income 2 lakh, then there will be no tax. If it is rupees like 5 lakh, then up to 2,50,000 it will be nil, and tax will be paid on balance rupees 2,50,000. Here are the slabs. On next 2,50,000 at the rate 5%, on next 5 lakh at the rate 20%, balance 30. Then look for the senior citizen. Minimum exemption limit is 3 lakh, but then this slab is like same in the sense like up to 5 lakh at the rate 5%. Up to 5 lakh, that means 3 lakh is exempt, then remaining 2 lakh at the rate 5%. And then remaining slabs are common for all the three categories, like next rupees 5 lakh at the rate 20%, balance at the rate 30%. See a difference among all the three categories, that the super senior citizen is allowed to have an exemption up to rupees 5 lakh. Then there is no 5% category, means there is no 5% slab. Reason being up to 5 lakh. So up to 5 lakh he is fully exempt. So we will apply directly 20% and 30%. 5 lakh 20% and balance on 30%. Clear? When you have computed your net tax liability on the two categories, like first specific rate, second general rate, there may be a case where there is no specific rate applicability. That means there is no income on which specific rate is to be applied. So no need to go for this category, just go directly on the general rate slab. If both categories are given in the question, then you may compute on both basis. Clear? So first we will compute this tax on specific rate basis, then on general rate basis. Then we will make a total of both the taxes. Then which we have already discussed is about the agriculture tax. In the previous slide we have added our agriculture income. Now we will deduct our agriculture tax. How we will compute as our agriculture tax will be discussed in next coming slide also. Calculation of agriculture tax. How we will compute our agriculture tax is very simple to understand. First, take the minimum exempted limit. Minimum exempted limit, like the individual for whom you are going to compute the tax liability is below 60 years. Then minimum exempted limit will be rupees 2,50,000. Add your agriculture income in this minimum exempted limit. Like your agriculture income is rupees 10,000. Then in your minimum exempted limit, add your agriculture income. Minimum exempted limit is rupees 2,50,000. Add your agriculture income, which is rupees 10,000. It will be rupees 2,60,000. If you have any deduction, then also make the deduction from 80C to 80U. And then simply compute your tax liability, which you have already computed, which we have already discussed, like general rates and specific rates. Then total it, and the resulting amount is the amount of agriculture tax. Clear? Like, have an example. Let us study the calculation using a example. Mr. X has agriculture income of rupees 1 lakh. Besides this, Mr. X has 5 lakh as non-agriculture income. Income from the 5 heads of income. You are required to calculate the amount of agriculture tax for Mr. X. Clear? Age is clear given in this question or illustration, which is 45 years. So first make a overview, or first decide that which rates are to be applied in this case. As Mr. X is 45 years, that means he will come under the age of 60 years, and the rate for the person below the age of 60 years shall be applied. And in that question, in that case, minimum exemption limit is rupees 2,50,000. Clear? So first take your minimum exempted limit, which is rupees 2,50,000. Then take your agriculture income, which is rupees 1 lakh. Make the total of both the amounts. It will be rupees 3,50,000. Then application of tax rates. Like the person come under the age 60 years, that means up to rupees 2,50,000 nil. Then on next 2,50,000 at the rate 5%. Here our total income is rupees like 3,50,000. Up to 2,50,000 nil. So the remaining balance amount is 1 lakh. 1 lakh at the rate 5%. It is rupees 5,000. So this is the amount of agriculture tax which will be deducted after computing the tax liability on the basis of specific or general rates. Clear? Now the next one important point is final calculation of your net tax liability. Clear? That means in in earlier slides we have computed the tax on the basis of specific rates and general rates. This is not your final or net tax liability. For net tax liability, we have created a word or term which is resume. Clear? Resume. We have bifurcated this resume RE, SU, M and E. We have given some signs over there like rebate minus, surcharge plus, M marginal relief minus, E education cess plus. That means rebate will reduce your tax liability, surcharge will add your tax liability, marginal relief will reduce your tax liability, and the last one, education cess, will increase your tax liability. This term is not defined in your Income Tax Act. It is just simply created to understand the concept or to learn the concept. That means in some cases I have found that the students are not able to understand the concept. That means after computing their tax liability, they are not able to understand that first which one is to be applied. Like sometimes they add directly education cess, then they take the concept of rebate. Sometimes they go for rebate and then education cess, then for marginal relief, then for surcharge. That means there is no continuity. So to make a continuity or to understand the concept in a flow or in a order, we have created this term resume. That means we have to follow the particular order, like first rebate, then surcharge, then marginal relief, after then education cess. That means education cess is to be levied at last. So go for the process of computing net tax liability. First we will start with this RE. RE stands for rebate. Rebate under section 87A. Who can claim rebate? Who can claim this 87A? Only a individual who is resident in India having total income less than rupees 5 lakh shall be entitled to claim the rebate under section 87A. Clear? That means a person who is not an Indian resident, like who is non-resident, or the person who is having total income exceeding rupees 5 lakh is not entitled to claim the deduction or this rebate under section 87A. And the amount of rebate is 12,500. Clear? That means when you compute tax liability of an individual, first check out 2 points, that either he is ordinary resident or not. Second point, he is having income more than 5 lakh or less than 5 lakh. Clear? If he is having income less than 5 lakh, then simultaneously you will check that either he is an ordinary resident or not. If both the conditions are satisfied, only then a rebate is to be given, which is rupees 12,500. Clear? Next one is surcharge. Surcharge is basically the tax on tax. Tax on tax. Due to progressive structure in India. Progressive tax structure, do you understand this concept? Progressive simply means your tax liability increases with the increase in income. Like as much as you earn, you will have to pay tax. If you are earning less, you will have to pay less tax. If you are earning more, then you will have to pay more tax. Clear? So surcharge is basically tax on tax. Tax on tax. First, tax is to be computed in the previously defined procedure. Then we will compute the tax on tax. Clear? It is simply applicable when you earn higher incomes. Higher income, what is the meaning of higher income? There are some categories. Like first, up to rupees 50 lakh, there will be no surcharge. Clear? That means surcharge will not be levied if your income is less than rupees 50 lakhs. If the total income of an individual is from 50 lakhs to 1 crore, surcharge at the rate 10%. If from 1 crore to 2 crore, then surcharge 15%. 2 crore to 5%, surcharge at the rate 25%. Total income exceeding 5 crore, surcharge at the rate 37%. Clear? That means after computing the tax liability up to rebate, you will check that how much amount is given in the question as the total income of the individual. Like if it is rupees 40 lakhs, there will be no surcharge. If it is rupees 51 lakhs, there will be surcharge at the 10%. If it is like 1 crore, then again 10%. If it is more than 1 crore, either it is rupees 1, surcharge rate will be 15%. Clear? This is why it is called tax on tax. Third point which come under this resume terminology, it is marginal relief. Clear? Marginal relief. Remind the symbol which we have used for marginal relief. We have used minus. Clear? For rebate we have used minus. For marginal relief we have used minus. Clear? For surcharge and education cess we have used plus symbol. That means education cess and surcharge will add your tax liability. Rebate and marginal relief will reduce your tax liability. So first understand the concept. What is marginal relief? Marginal relief is directly related to the surcharge. It means marginal relief may be there in a case where surcharge is there. That means if surcharge is to be paid, only then marginal relief may be claimed. Where there is surcharge, there may be marginal relief. Clear? The marginal relief concept states that the amount of tax on excessive income. Excessive income means the income due to which this surcharge is to be paid. Like up to 50 lakh there is no surcharge. More than 50 lakh to 1 crore, surcharge is to be paid at the rate 10%. So excessive income, like you are having income 51 lakh, then your excessive income will be rupees 1 lakh. Reason being, up to 50 lakh you are not allowed or you are not compulsorily to pay the surcharge. Clear? So the tax on the excessive income plus the amount of surcharge which we will compute cannot exceed the amount in excess of the limits of surcharge. Clear? Tax on the excessive income plus the amount of surcharge cannot exceed in excess of the limits of surcharge. We will understand the whole concept with an example. Like total income of Mr. X for the assessment year 2019 to 20 is rupees 1 crore 1 lakh. You are required to calculate the amount of marginal relief for Mr. X. Before computing the tax liability in this illustration, there are some points which first you will have to check. Like first, Mr. X. Mr. X is an individual. Clear? So the tax rate of an individual will be applied. Second, the age factor. Like under which category he is to be taxable. Here in this illustration, it is not clearly mentioned that Mr. X will be taxable under which category. So simply we will consider him under the age of 60 years. So clear? Where there is, when this information is not given in the illustration that under which category he is to be taxable, we will simply take the category of below the age of 60 years. Clear? So now go for the whole concept. First, the income will be divided into two sections, like the general rate section, specific rate section. In this illustration, this total income is not divided into different sections. Like in this illustration, it is not mentioned that the sources of income like casual income, LTCG, we have not So we will not consider this. We will simply take the general rate category. Clear? General rate category, which is for below the age of 60 years. So go for the calculation. 1 crore 1 lakh is our total income. Minimum exemption limit, say we will start with this minimum exemption limit. It is rupees 2,50,000. So up to 2,50,000 it shall be nil. Then on next 2,50,000 at the rate 5%, and the amount will be rupees 12,500. On rupees 5 lakh at the rate 20%, it shall be rupees 1 lakh. Then on balance at the rate 30%, the amount is rupees 27 lakh 30,000. Clear? We will add all these three amounts. We have computed our tax liability on 1 crore 1 lakh. Clear? So total is rupees 28 lakh 42,000. So the total of this amount is 28 lakh 42,500. Now we will apply our term, which is resume. Rebate, surcharge, marginal relief, education cess. So first, rebate, as our total income is in excess of 5 lakh. 3,50,000 was earlier. So 3,50,000. So the resulting amount will remain same. Then we will add surcharge. 1 crore 1 lakh. Up to 50 lakh there was no surcharge. From 50 to 1 crore surcharge at the rate 10%. Then from 1 crore to 2 crore surcharge at the rate 15%. Here in this illustration, our total income was rupees 1 crore 1 lakh. So it comes under the category from 1 crore to 2 crore, and the rate of surcharge shall be at the rate 15%. 15% of the resulting amount, which is 28,42,500. So the surcharge amount will be rupees 32,68,875. Then in resume, next term is marginal relief. We say that where there is surcharge, there is marginal relief. So the rule of marginal relief states that tax on the excessive income. Excessive income means 1 lakh, 1 crore 1 lakh. Up to 1 crore there was no surcharge. Then on 1 lakh is your excessive income. On 1 lakh, tax on the excessive income. Tax on excessive income like 30%. Highest slab rate is to be applied. 30% on 1 lakh, it is rupees 30,000. Tax on excessive income plus the amount of surcharge. The amount of surcharge is rupees 4,26,375. We will make a total of these two amounts. The resulting amount is rupees 4,56,375. We say in the concept of marginal relief, we say that the tax on excessive income plus the amount of surcharge cannot exceed the limits of surcharge. Clear? Cannot exceed the limit of surcharge. That means extra income earned is only rupees 1 lakh in excess of 1 crore. So how it can exceed how your tax liability can exceed this excess income earned? So it will be reduced by rupees 1 lakh, and your marginal relief will be rupees 3,56,375. Out of our tax liability, we will reduce or we will deduct this resulting or this marginal relief amount, and your balance amount will be rupees 29,12,500. This is all about the marginal relief. Clear? Next and the last one is health and education cess. In resume, last one is E, which stands for health and education cess. Health and education cess is purely a tax which is paid by the individual for the growth and for the development of health and education. Government has put this tax and charge this tax from the individual or the other categories for developing, promoting the health and education. Clear? In this financial year, or in this case, health and education cess is to be applied at the rate of 4%. So in the last, whatever is your resulting amount, you will compute or you will charge 4% of your resulting amount. Like in the previous illustration, your resulting amount was rupees 32,68,875. Clear? There is no exemption in health and education cess. That means it is compulsorily to be paid by the assessee. There is no any relaxation for any type of assessee. If you are taxable, then you will have to pay health and education cess. So on your resulting amount, after applying all the concept like specific rate, general rates, rebate, surcharge, marginal relief, whatever is your resulting amount, you will charge 4% as health and education cess. In this point, like your resulting amount is, after considering marginal relief 3,56,375, your resulting amount is 29,12,500. Then we will charge 4% on this 29,12,500, which shall be rupees 1,16,500. Education cess will add your tax liability, which we have already discussed. This, like surcharge and education cess, will add your tax liability. Marginal relief and rebate will reduce your tax liability. So will add means we will make the add. We will add this health and education cess in our resulting amount 29,12,500 plus 4% of this 29,12,500. It is rupees 1,16,500, and your gross tax liability is rupees 30,29,000. It is not your net tax liability. For converting it into net tax liability, if a tax is already paid by the individual, which is known as TDS, tax deducted at sources. That means TDS simply means whenever you receive any income from the giver or the payer, then he deducts some tax over this income as an tax. So if you there cannot be double taxation. If you have paid some amount of tax as already, then it will reduce your final tax liability. That means we will make our deduction in the form of TDS, which is tax deducted at source, out of our gross tax liability, and the balance will be your final and net tax liability. Then we will round off our net tax liability into the multiples of 10. Clear? So friends, I have tried my best to provide you an overview of calculation of net tax liability. There are some other concepts which are to be considered, like the different heads are not considered here. So these heads are to be discussed separately, but I think this PPT will help you in having an overview of the computation of net tax liability. So just read all these contents, go for it, try and calculate, and try to calculate your net tax liability. Good luck. Thank you.